So it's that infamous time in which hens flip and stop taking care of chicks, and everything is in peril. She can seduce the cock away from her babies and leave the babies to starve, or even attack the babies to get them out of the nest, because they're evil, evil females. Wrong. In the wild, these birds live in the Australian outback, and their breeding cycle is completely dependent on the rain. So if it rains and a pair gets together, develops a nest, hatches out the chicks, by the time they're about half raised, if the rain is still happening and the weather is still good, then the hen will begin to look for another nest. And she'll go completely away, find herself a nest, and start laying eggs and incubating them while dad finishes raising the chicks. So this is completely natural to these birds for the mom to become disinterested when the chicks are halfway through. I've marked it down, and my date is the 25th day after the first chick hatches. So when the first chick is 25 days old, I pull the hens. Because leaving them in can be extremely problematic. All kinds of bad things can happen. If she has no other choice, she can't fly away and go find another nest. She's trapped in a cage with this cock and the babies. So instead, she's going to try and recycle the nest she has. So she's going to start picking on the chicks to try and get them out of the nest so she can start laying new eggs. She's going to start seducing the cock and getting jealous when she sees him feeding the chicks. So she'll block him in the doorway of the nest and not let him in to feed the chicks, and they'll start starving to death. She, especially if the oldest chick is a hen, she'll become jealous of that chick and stop feeding it while all the younger chicks are in great shape. That one's dying of starvation. Or she'll just, skip the whole thing altogether. She'll sit in there all day and all night because she's getting ready to start laying new eggs, but she's not feeding the chicks that are in there, so they're all getting sick and dying. And she's not letting the cock in because of jealousy, because feeding is part of their mating ritual. This is Bear Grylls down here taking care of his baby. Feeding is part of the mating ritual, so when she sees him feeding the babies, she gets jealous. You have to pull the hens at some point. It's natural for them. The hens have disconnected from the chicks. They're not interested in raising them anymore. They want to start over again. And if you don't pull them out of there and give them someplace else to be, they'll end up it's a completely unnatural situation. There's Bear Grylls feeding his baby. And bad things will happen. Oftentimes you'll start losing chicks. And people will be like, why? They were doing so great. Because the hen flipped and she seduced the cock, and he's so busy breeding her that he has stopped feeding the babies too, or she blocked him from the nest and he's forgotten that he was the dad. So when that oldest chick is 25 days old, the hens will go back out to the flight cage. I take the high perch out of the cage so dad has only the low perch to be on, just in case there's any chance that he has started to become disconnected from his chicks. The fact that he's forced to stand down on the low perch and on the ground with them means they can chase him around and scream at him, and he'll start feeding them. So I have a bunch that are out with dad, and moms are gone. This is Bear Grylls. He was the first one, because here's him flipped early. He actually flipped on the 23rd day. And the way I could tell is because I checked the chicks every day, and all of a sudden the oldest chick was skinny as a rail with a breastbone like a blade, while the youngest chick was still fat and round. And that a hen starting to pick preferences with her chicks is the first sign that she's flipping, and that older baby will die if you don't get her out of there so that it can start chasing dad around for some food. So Bear Grylls is doing a great job of taking care of these two, and they will stay in here with daddy exclusively, with food all over the floor and a ceramic water dish that they can crawl through and find until they are 6 weeks old. And it's 6 weeks will happen on Saturday, 5/22. This is Shu. His babies, I just pulled their box today, And their little crops are so full that they can hardly move. They're like bulging out the front. So I don't think we have anything to worry about with Daddy and his babies. And this is Scarn. I had to pull Pastel a couple of days ago, and can you see how fat that little baby is? It just wanders around there with Daddy all day long screaming for food. And if you take them out of the nest at 25 days, I usually pull the hen and then pull the nest box the following day, and I'll tell you why. But if you take them out at 25 days, oh, they're so young. Well, first of all, they sleep together in the corner, so they're still keeping each other warm. Not that it's terribly cold in the garage. And second of all, if you take them out, they start learning to eat immediately. Whereas if you leave them in the nest box, they'll stay in there forever, working their parents to the bone when they could be out taking care of themselves. So, Scar's doing a great job. This little chick, can you see that crop is just hanging down? He's so fat. I love that. Other birds that I've pulled, there is Amazon and two of his. Third one's over here, taking a nap. What you doing over there, little boo? You can't be over there. He says, I can be wherever I want. I'm a big bird now. Come here, little boo. That's a cozy spot for you, huh? Go over there and be with your siblings. So these guys, I actually pulled their mom a little bit early because I got her to stop plucking, but then she started again. See the little bald head there? She's actually got pin feathers and he's growing them back. This one's almost all grown in. But she started plucking again, so I pulled her and I'm medicating her. So, and Dad's doing a great job. See that fat little crop down there? And they sit there on the plates and eat the soft food all day long. This is Periodot. I pulled the estuary yesterday. And he's just sitting down here with his babies. Hi, babies. Are you taking good care of your babies, Periodot? Of course you are. Look at that fat little baby back there. He's all full of it. And here is, that's not Dad. That's Dad. That's Malachite. And the youngest chick in the back is going to be a showstopper. And this little guy ain't half bad either. This is the older one. Who's learned to stand on a perch. Look at me, Dad. I can stand on a perch. Whoo-wee! Who else is on their own? So, this is Vapor. No, Vapor was his hen. This is Niger. I just pulled Vapor today. So see, he still has his nest box. Tomorrow, I will come in, pull the grass out, put a new layer of grass down, and pull the nest box and put the babies out. So, but he's on his own, and I'm sure he's doing fine. And the other one down here is, this is Henry, with his whole crew of little mobs down there. And again there. So look at that baby. He's so fat he can hardly move because he's been sitting around eating by himself all day. Now, if you took a chick this age out of the nest and took him away from his father, he would die. No matter how much food you put in front of him. Because they follow their parents and their brothers and sisters. So what they're doing is they're watching their father, and when they see him eating millet, they'll come over and they'll spend an hour peeling a couple of pieces of millet to eat. But if they didn't have him to watch, they would not know what to do and they would die. So don't be thinking you can pull a chick from both of its parents at 25 days, because you can't. They'll die. You have to leave them with a mom or a dad. So, did you take a bath, Missy? Yes, you did. So anyway, that's what's happening. The Foster's cage, she's the first one to go. She'll go the day after tomorrow. I'll pull her and leave the box on, because one of the things I found is in a community breeding situation, if you take one nest box and put the chicks out, they'll go climb in one of the other birds' nest boxes and then the hen will attack them. So you have to wait until all the hens are out before you pull the nest boxes. So she goes Tuesday, she goes Wednesday, but I'll leave the nest boxes on because this girl doesn't go until Sunday. Her chicks are younger. So, but the fathers will keep feeding them with the nest boxes on. So why do I pull the nest boxes? Because the fathers, once the hen is out of sight, again, feeding is a mating courtship ritual. So he'll be going along, feeding a chick, no mom in sight. In the wild, she would be coming back every once in a while to get bread to make sure her new clutch of eggs was fertile. But here I just have to take her out. So so he'll start thinking, well, one of these must be my mate then, and he'll pick one of his baby girls and start trying to treat her like a mate instead of like a baby. So you have to pull the nest box so he's not in breeding mode anymore. And then you have to in about a week or so, I'll move them all to different cages. I'll rotate them through cages. So he'll be in a different cage, so he's not in his breeding territory at all. And that helps keep the fathers from selecting a female chick and abusing her in unhappy ways. Wow, isn't that baby just the bomb? Fat. I love my fat babies. It's perfect. Okay, so that's what's going on. The hens are out in the flight. These dads are on duty for the next 2 weeks. When their oldest chick is 6 weeks old, I'll take the whole family and put them out in the flight with mom. And I'll film that because it's always kind of fun to see the reunion. These birds breed for life. So dad can be in here on his own taking care of these babies for 2 weeks, but when I put them out in the flight, he will go straight to his hen, give her kisses and hugs and loves, and then in the next few hours get around to feeding his babies again. And he'll continue to take care of them out in flight for about another week or two. You do have to be careful because some cocks will keep feeding babies for months. And if you get a super dad, you have to pull him and give him a chance to recover. So you have to pull his chicks or him out of the cage and disconnect them so he'll stop feeding them, or else he'll wear himself to a thread. So, okay. So that's what's happening in the breeding cages. My baby cocktails are huge. I'm taking you in to play with you. I'm starting to hand train them now, so. Hi, little boo. Oh, it is a giant birdie. Okay, that's it.